as the first ban from the Glacial Rising Phoenix side.
I guess, Shadow Jumper must be fearsome.
Yeah, there must be either that's a little troll or there must be some hidden story we don't know about going on there. Because I don't think he plays that champion too much.
The Morgana is definitely respectful. She is right now one of the most banned champions in the league. Part of that is because Iron Dragons never lets her through, but
yeah, and she's one of those champions. I like to call her anti-fun because the champions she counters tend to be the fun playmaking supports in the bot lane. So if you want to have fun in the bot lane, you tend to ban Morgana out. And then we see a Soraka ban coming through, and she's one of the more oppressive supports right now, actually, in the bot lane meta.
And very recently, as in yesterday, we saw just how powerful Karthus can be as a flex pick. So it's probably a good idea. Go ahead and get him out of there. Don't let his shenanery run wild.
Yeah, we've gotten to see Karthus AD carry, and we've also got to see the power of the Karthus when he gets Infernal Dragons and how much damage that ult can truly do in the late game. So it's kind of just a safe ban to get rid of it.
Probably the best ADC, and getting her out of there, especially if Epic Fail Guy just wants to hop on Ezreal, is very reasonable. I respect that a lot.
Yeah, the Ashe is a good ban, especially when you know you're going to be picking something like Ezreal. But what we do see, I like seeing the Lux support coming out for SG capping, because I like Lux support into champions like Ezreal, because if you're actually able to land that binding, you will just one-shot them.
Absolutely. Plus the Orianna, just a very powerful team fighting mid. They already have strong team fighting and engaging capability. It's great.
Yeah, the Orianna ult is and the ball play we see in team fights is really going to be something to look out for, because they're really going to have to keep in mind, where the Orianna ball is as they set up around objectives and fights, especially with them drafting some more immobile champions. If we see a Syndra coming up, but we do see a Karma a little bit for that shield movement speed. It's a pretty good champion to lane against Lux with the way the movement speed works to kind of dodge some abilities and good poke.
Yeah, and Syndra and Karma, definitely strong picks. The Syndra just feels like one of the best champions to be running in mid if you can get her. Notably, still no junglers or top laners, so both teams seeming to want to push those back as far as possible.
Yeah, we do see, I think waiting on the jungle picks, we do see a Rek'Sai coming out from the side of huge mini difference here to round it out. But waiting on these jungle picks for so long is a little different. You don't see too many waits on the jungle picks, because now they can really pinch the jungle pool here. And with Rek'Sai already picked, you don't really want to pick a Lee Sin into Rek'Sai, because that's a really bad matchup. So they could ban out, take a chance here, ban out Graves, ban out J4, ban out Olaf, ban out some of these really good junglers that can just run over Rek'Sai.
And of note, Rek'Sai is not a normal pick, but has been a 100% win rate in the ALS so far.
Oh, that's actually really cool. That means
8% pick ban.
Yeah, so you probably sees three or four games with that win rate, but that's pretty cool actually. So it's probably a pick specific to just one or two junglers in the league. I know he's fallen out of grace pretty much for most junglers, but he's still a really strong early game jungler.
So the double-edged sword to that strategy, Glacial Rising Phoenix was able to remove Caitlyn and Jhin from Kairo's pool.
Yeah, we see a Caitlyn and a Jhin like you were saying, but we haven't seen an Aphelios actually taken away yet, and we haven't seen a Xayah either. So we still have some really strong, really safe, more meta AD carries. Especially, I know Fnatic played Jhin the other day, but we haven't seen too much Jhin really coming out from teams.
So that Gnar's an interesting pick. Gnar currently rocking a 0% win rate in the ALS, whereas Ornn is a pretty solid standard pick for top lane.
Yeah, going with the Gnar over the Ornn or I know Biho likes to play Shen a lot too, so we see him picking Gnar. Maybe he's trying to be a little bit more of a lane bully up there. Gnar is a pretty good matchup into Ornn with the way his W actually interacts in the lane and being able to rush Black Cleaver. So we might see him trying to be more of a lane bully up there and try to get some map pressure early on with the Rek'Sai.
So I appreciate W Brains picking Zach. That makes me feel better.
Ooh.
Oh, so this could be a
Orianna AD carry.
yeah, this is an interesting pickup. It might also be a Gnar AD carry.
I'm thinking it's going to be an Orianna AD carry. I know Kiroy's played it a couple times down there.
Yeah, Kairo's been known to do some weird stuff, and Orianna has a passive that really enables some shenanigans in bottom lane. So this is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen the Orianna take on the mage bot lane. There's actually been a lot of like Lux Sona bot lane recently. There's been, you know, Cassio and Syndra still, but I haven't seen Orianna down there. But like you're saying, with the passive and the way her damage stacks up on her autos, she's still kind of a force to be reckoned with down there.
And it gives them a lot of shielding.
It's interesting. We actually see Gnar jungle coming out. It looks like it's going to be a Gnar jungle and a Rek'Sai top lane. And I do hope it's Beho playing Rek'Sai jungle, because it looks like it is. Okay.
Beho has taken Smite, so it looks like they've done a role reversal, which, okay.
Yeah, they must have been planning this, because that's, you know, like we were saying, his Shen did get left up, so it's not like he was completely banned out of his top lane champions. So they just kind of felt maybe this was the route for this game. I do like the Gnar pick into Ornn, so maybe they just felt, you know, kind of force Joey Desu onto Ornn and see if they can get a good matchup.
Interestingly, SJ Capping has taken Barrier.
Yeah, especially with the Orianna having TP, not having the heal TP is a little strange. Normally, you might see a Barrier on the Lux if the ADC keeps heal, or the APC, I guess, in this game. But yeah, Barrier TP, so the Orianna is a little killable in this lane. Interesting.
Well, we have a fairly consistent Glacial Rising Phoenix, a pretty standard team comp. Ornn into Zac, into Syndra, into Ezreal, into Karma. You have a strong front line, you have a powerful assassin, you have just Ezreal bringing the poke, good engage, good team fighting potential, and then you have a little bit of an off team with huge minion difference. Who are you seeing taking this game?
That's a good question. I definitely think Glacial Rising Phoenix in a normal world would win this game. I think their comp is better. I think everything about like the way it is, it suits their playstyle. While huge minion difference, definitely a little more almost solo queue ish. The Rek'Sai doesn't really synergize well with this team. If Rek'Sai doesn't get ahead early, he doesn't really become a champion. Once 20 minutes hits, he's not really. You know, you could have picked Jarvan for better engage, things like that, to synergize a little better with Orianna. But if we do see Rek'Sai snowball early, we will see a much better, like in the mid game at that 20-minute point, huge minion difference could just really snowball a game into winning.
I mean, huge minion difference definitely has more to prove here. That is for sure. I always appreciate people, one, playing the Magic Goat, and two, playing Zac after my disastrous game on Friday, so I'm generally fine with what Glacial Rising Phoenix is doing here, but I just feel like huge minion difference has a lot to prove, and they are making the aggressive plays necessary to get there.
Yeah, and I guess one thing too to point out with Orianna bot lane, you do tend to see more recently a lot more Iceborne Gauntlet on Ezreal, and that is armor. So if you're having Iceborne Gauntlet against double mage bot lane, it's not going to feel as good. So he might go towards a Triforce, or he might still go Iceborne Gauntlet to handle the rest of the AD on the map, but struggle a little bit more against these mages down here.
Yeah, they might even look to try and end the laning phase early, but we are about to load into the game.
It's going to be an exciting one for sure. As like we've said, huge minion difference. They're right now they're tied with Julia Duck, and they're at 5-8. Julia Duck with the loss is 5-9, so they're like tied for that playoff spot. And huge minion difference has a game against Smug Club and a game against Kisses for Cats left. So one of those is going to be a really, really hard game for them, and the other could still be a contested game. As long as Smug Club is there and showing up, it can still be pretty contested. So they definitely were looking to prove they can compete here with a 4 or 5 seed team.
Absolutely. Well, we are loading onto the Rift. It looks like, well, waiting for everyone to be able to get out of the pool and see if we have one of those mono-approved invades.
It certainly looks like we're just having a nice little 5-point, well, 4-point with the Luxem base.
We have an early pause. I think there might be questions about
The
roster
lane
situations. So they're just taking a second to, I think, figure out some of those issues.
Yeah, and we do see the kind of Dorn's played start with Grasp of the Undying for Gnar, so he's really going to look to be oppressive up there in the lane. We do see Gangplank with Grasp, which is pretty standard against most top lane matchups. I know in mid lane I've seen a couple different things from Spellbook, which just got nerfed recently, to I've even seen like Fleet Footwork in really bad matchups.
Yeah, this I think it's interesting. Oriana's taking the really aggressive phase rush, so that's exciting to see.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really good for her this game. With, you got the Ornn ult, you have Zac jumping in, running away from Karma, all the stun, all the just damage abilities that come out from the side of Glacial Rising Phoenix. You definitely need movement speed there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're waiting to see if we can figure out if there's any issues with this lane swap that they pulled with Bo switching to jungle and CCO moving to top lane. As soon as we have all that cleared up.
Yeah, as soon as we, they clear up the situation, we should be underway, hopefully. I do believe they were allowed to do their lane swap.
Yeah, they should be allowed to, but we're just waiting on that rules clarification to get through.
Yeah, so we see, Conquer, Airy, pretty standard stuff all around. There's nothing too crazy, but at least for Glacial Rising Phoenix here, they're pretty much locked into playing trigger happy in the first round of the playoffs, as they're either going to be the 4 or the 5 seed, so they're going to have to play trigger happy pretty much guaranteed, I believe, at this point. As there's not, unless Glacial Rising Phoenix were to lose out and Huge Minion Difference win out, then you could see 8 wins for Huge Minion Difference and only 7 still for Glacial Rising Phoenix. But the way it's looking, it should be them versus trigger happy. So they really want to pick up some more wins here and kind of in the back half of the season strong and looking good into going into playoffs here.
Yeah, absolutely. I do notice we have that Spell Thief's Edge on SJ capping, which I know typically you see Relic Shield more often, but Spell Thief's Edge just recently getting a buff. Do you think this is just the more normal way moving forward?
I think it's very dangerous actually in the lane they're in, because against the Karma, against the Ezreal, when you only have that barrier on yourself, it's more dangerous to get the poke off. But it should be fine. I don't see too much trouble in the bot lane, but we do see like Comet actually coming out to kind of go along with the Spell Thieves you're talking about, because sometimes you see Aftershock or you see Summon Airy or even Guardian. So to see the the Spell Thieves and the Comet, we're definitely looking at a more aggressive, damage heavy build.
Absolutely. So we're back in the game. Everyone's kind of settling into a 5-point, although it looks like Huge Minion Difference is a little heavier to the bottom.
Yeah, a little more of the solo queue. Watching the jungle there, just kind of standing around, but no big invades like you were saying. And I mean, I guess it actually is a little possible. So if we take a second real quick and look at Glacial Rising Phoenix, they do play Kisses for Cats and NG Blossom as their last 2 games after this. So this win right here is what you could reasonably say maybe one of their last chances to pick up a win. These top 3 teams are certainly looking really strong. But if they're able to, have a good game here and a good showing in the last week, this could be a dangerous team.
Absolutely. And Kisses for Cats has just really been picking it up in the past couple of weeks, so they are a terrifying force to be moving into.
Yeah, I believe they're 9-1 in the last 10 games.
So, both junglers starting on blue side. It looks like Bo is just a little bit further ahead in speed, which makes sense.
Yeah, the Rek'Sai's early clear is going to be a little better in terms of getting to level 3 and ganking. Zach's full clear is kind of healthier. But we do see, interestingly enough, the GP kind of getting a little bit of lane pressure early on, actually, against Syndra here in the mid lane.
Absolutely, and it looks like Shadow Jumper has already used his first 2 corrupting potion pots.
Yeah, so he's pushing the wave pretty hard at kind of the cost of his own health and mana. We do see Syndra a little low on mana too. So we'll have to see if he's looking to like move on these Scuttle Crabs early on, and maybe he's just trying to, you know, have the priority for his jungler here.
Absolutely. We do notice that 3 members of Glacial Rising Phoenix are running biscuits.
They really like that mana. It's pretty standard coming out from, I would say, from Karma. It's a little... I'm surprised we don't see actually like sorcery secondary on Ezreal with the Nimbus Cloak phenomenon that people love to run, especially how good it can be.
Just doing a deep look, checking on blue side jungle, and then he and CCO are clearing out that top scuttle. It looks like Duddy is still clearing red and nowhere close to getting the scuttle.
Yeah, he's going for what looks like more of almost full clear of his whole jungle, rather than actually going for any of these scuttles. Maybe he's about to look for a gank down here, instead of doing Scuttle Crab, as they are a little pushed up right now, and Lux did just get chunked.
Fell guy putting a lot of damage onto SJ capping, and it definitely looks like Duddy Brains wants to try and find a pick, leaping in, taking a flash from SJ capping.
Yeah, so we see that, you know, a pretty good gank, get a flash out from the bot lane. One of the things to note is that Rek'Sai, while is up a level, is choosing not to go for these topside Krugs, is looking for a lane gank up there. So we'll have to see if he's able to make this gank work up there. He's going to get a pretty big lead in the jungle.
And that's an excellent timed attack. They have Mega Gnar come out, and right as Bo comes in, but it looks like Joey Desu was able to just barely skirt out of there.
Yeah, we do see a little mechanical misplay as Rek'Sai was not able to... He tried to flash knockup and he accidentally unburrowed too early and wasn't able to get the flash knockup. And if that piece of CC lands, we probably see an early first blood coming out on the top side of the map. So overall, we get a trade of flashes from jungle and top side. We might see him actually tower dive up there.
We have Duddy Brains coming in for a lane gank and leaving Shadow Jumper with just a little bit more than 100 HP.
Yeah, and that's a really unfortunate back timing because we're going to see Shadow Jumper just off his Sheen. So probably, yeah, has to pick up Sapphire Crystal and Longsword. So he's not exactly getting the recall he wants, but we do see the Rek'Sai posturing for a tower dive in this top side. And this is a little dangerous as he doesn't know for sure Zach's not coming up.
And we have Joey Desu getting a big jump in, but it is not enough as Bo comes with the knockup and CCO able to finish him off. So first blood going to huge minion difference.
And there's part of the power of the Rek'Sai pick as we see him tunnel over that big wall, not really tanking tower. And, you know, Joey Desu thinks he has a good trade. He thinks he's about to get a solo kill, and he ends up burning a flash, but he does go down with the overextension.
Yeah, he's taking out CCO there before Bo managed to get really into that gank.
Yeah, and we do see the early time at actually coming out from Bo here, and that is something I've noticed a lot more too on most junglers, even like Kayn and stuff. Even though they have decent clear, they're just trying to clear as quick as possible and just really put an emphasis on this spam ganking style we've seen from some junglers.
You know, I really enjoy taking Tiamat myself, so it's definitely something I can appreciate.
Yeah, I certainly like it. We definitely see right now he's kind of on the bot side of the map. They're looking maybe at getting early dragon. We'll have to see if mid pressure kind of stays anywhere, if we get a nice gank. It looks like coming out.
Getting caught out by the ward and really probably not getting much off of this gank, so he's going to have to slip back into the jungle. But Joey Desu getting a huge solo kill in the top lane.
Yeah, and what happened in the top lane is we see CCO, he gets a little aggressive with his mega form, thinks he can take a fight, and just gets Ornn clapped.
That's what Ornn is there to do.
Yeah, the power of the tanks. And they're going to transition this actually into just kind of immediately going for this dragon. We'll have to see. I guess they did see, maybe they have knowledge Shadow Jumper did recall. He does not have TP, but he does have GP ult.
So it looks like as this dragon fight gets underway, everyone hops out of the dragon pit very early. Xylandis almost gets the snare on. They hop back on the dragon, while Bo, Cairo, and FJ Capping try and pressure out. It looks like W Brains is able to get it in there. Skiz flashes in, tries to get an ult off on Cairo, but doesn't quite secure the kill.
Yeah, and this is one of those fights that we see where we're almost screaming, why are you here? Your mid laner recalled. The big difference in this fight was the mid priority. We saw Skiz being able to be there while Shadow Jumper was taking his back, getting his sheen. And, they still opted into the fight 3v4. And we see, we saw Biho go in, and he got Syndra ulted and had to smite early to try to even stay alive, and wasn't able to get the dragon.
Absolutely. So that was a pretty big turnaround. We're now seeing a small gold lead going in the favor of Glacial Rising Phoenix, as Epic Fail Guy manages to pick up a snare on Cairo and kill him.
Yeah, we see just a little bit of overextension for some farm down there in the bot lane, and we see that power of the Ezreal Karma, and we don't have a heal coming out from SJ Capping or Cairo, so there's no way to really save her, especially because she just burned Flash.
Duddy Brain's giving up priority on top Scuttle Crab, as Bo just shows up and kind of bullies him away from it.
Yeah, but he was able to actually, Duddy Brain still was able to get the crab, and we saw Bo kind of give him a little love tap there in the jungle, but knowing he doesn't have the mid pressure to go in, we do see them trying to get around the Scuttle Crab ward to actually sneak a Rift Herald play. We saw they might know this is happening with the Mia from top lane, but they're not making any move towards it right now.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to get a nice, safe...
There's a huge fight breaks out in the mid lane, actually, right now.
Oh, yeah, we have Cairo coming up to assist Shadow Jumper and a gank. Xylandis also in there. Duddy Brains in the wings, but it looks like Bo's trying to flank. He is picking up Duddy Brains. I think everyone's backing off now.
Yeah, we actually have a fight going out in the top lane after this too, with the Ornn ult coming down. It's just non-stop action across the map.
That's not a fight. That was just Joey Gethard coming in and beating up.
Yeah, but we actually saw Cairo with the Orianna roams of all things. You certainly don't expect that when you're playing Syndra. Of all the things you have to watch out for as an immobile mage, you're not thinking of an Orianna gank that showed up with the nice shockwave.
Absolutely, but Orianna definitely has the mobility.
Yeah, she's got a slow. She's got her nice AoE ult damage. It definitely just caught him by surprise there.
And she speeds herself up.
True. And she just came from bot side where they had the vision. Is a really good roam. And we did see them able to finish that Scuttle Crab as well. So even though they had their top laner get solo killed again up on that top side, they do get a Scuttle Crab. So we see them at the 10-minute mark. They're down, about 1,000 gold, but they do have the Scuttle or the Rift Herald. So we'll have to see if they're able to make a play with the Rift Herald.
Absolutely. It looks like Bo is trying to come in for a gank on bottom lane. He's spread out. He's going in he has the knockup, but Duddy Brain shows up. SJ Capping gets a kill with the ultimate. Duddy Brains and Zyren still trying to beat down Bo. Both are low, but here is Skiz ready to help clean up. Xylandis gets a kill on Cairo and SJ Camping, and Skiz manages to finish off Bo.
Yeah, we see they go for an aggressive play, and once again, mid priority is not in their favor. We see the gangplank is not as strong as Syndra early, does not have the ability to shove this wave in as quickly as the Syndra does, and we see, they go for this gank, and it starts off really well for them, but the whole time, Syndra's just walking down river. By the time she shows up, she's got 3 nice low health targets for her to just kind of clean up.
Absolutely. Epic Fail Guy comes in to push Shadow Jumper off his tower. and we are now looking at close to a 2k gold difference.
Yeah, and one of the big things too is we see in top lane, almost it was about 2 levels down there for a little bit, but now it's probably about a level and a half overall that he's falling behind. And in this matchup, which I thought was going to be pretty, at least easy for the Gnar, we see he's struggling quite a bit up there.
Joey Desu going in, putting a lot of damage on a CCO. We know that both top laners are going to have their teleports up for this next dragon fight, which should be in just a couple of seconds. Joey Desu's is going to be right on time, but Xylandis is clearing out vision and setting up.
Yeah, we see CCO backing with just under 100 rage on his Mega Gnar bar. He's probably at like 85. It's slowly ticking down now. He's trying to stay stacked up a little bit so he can have his ult ready. And he's walking down straight from base. So we'll have to see how him being here early affects this fight.
It looks like everyone is in place. Shadow Jumper coming in, putting a little bit of damage on to Duddy Brains as they start clearing out this Scuttlecraft. Skill's in a bad place and gets chunked down hard. Locked down and killed by CCO. Duddy Brains is sent into passive as it is just red side in front of this dragon pit. It looks like they have locked down this second dragon as Glacial Rising Phoenix just hiding out behind the wall, no longer looking for this fight.
Yeah, we see a little bit of an overextension coming out from Skiz, and like I was saying, we had the Gnar roaming early. Gnar was able to get there ahead, and he actually is going
coming over the wall, going after Epic Fail Guy, chunking him down hard, flashing in, trying to get the kill. Xylandis in a bad place. We have Pyro chasing down and getting the kill right as they also secure a Infernal Drake.
Yeah, and we see the pressure that the Gnar is able to get by being there early. We see Skiz kind of walking up a little too far in that river, not enough patience. I think the Orin has a good angle there on his walk down on the gangplank, and if they're able to stall out that fight a little longer, they might be able to actually take the fight. But that 2k gold lead we were talking about is now gone. Huge minion difference. They've evened up the dragon count, they've evened up the kill count and the gold count basically, and we're looking at a nice even state in the lanes again.
So interestingly, it looks like Bo just never got a chance to put down that Shelly.
Did he not summon it?
Yeah,
I thought I saw
expired.
Huh. I thought I saw him summon it in a lane and just didn't get a charge. Wow, he must have, yeah. But we didn't see the Rift Herald actually being impactful like we were talking about. But we do get to see actually another gank coming out.
Top line. We have Duddy Brains attacking. They have CCO pretty locked down. He's in Mega Gnar, but Duddy Brains is using his ult. We have teleports coming in. CCO almost dead. Joey Desu securing it. Shadow Jumper coming in from behind, but being dropped really low, really quickly. And Bo also coming in, trying to do support, but also falling. That is a 2-for-0 kill, and Shadow Jumper is having to run back to base. Almost being picked off by Epic Fail Guys. That's some flux.
Yeah, he could feel the breeze on that one.
Late, getting stunned out by Skiz. He eats an orange and keeps running, but he is super low and everyone is on, and Skiz finally picking up the kill before he can get back to his second tower.
Yeah, we kind of see a greedy overstay there from Shadow Jumper. Overall, we see just a really good play. You know, they start off with the gank, punishing the Gnar for trying to be aggressive in the lane. And we see Skiz with the mid priority a little bit. You know, he's aggressive. They're looking for these aggressive plays, and they just instantly countered the TP. And you know, when Skiz shows up, it's pretty much over there because it's an even 3v3. They don't have any CC left for him. As we see the power of the Lux Binding in the bot lane.
Yeah, lots of damage coming into bottom lane as Xylandis is into a great screen.
Yeah, and we just see a Lux Binding into, you know, Orianna ult, and it's just one-shots from there. Even with the Athenes for the magic resist, it's just not enough.
We are sitting at 16 minutes and have 17 kills.
It's a very, very bloody game coming out.
Absolutely, and a lot of this has been due to greed. We have Bo getting caught out in the Shelly pit as he just gets destroyed, and 3 members of Glacial Rising Phoenix coming in here to secure the second Rift Herald. Shadow Jumper uses an ult to try and steal it away, but it does not look like it worked as Duddy Brains walks away with a Shelly in his trinket slot.
Yeah, and we see kind of a very funny play. I'm gonna go with unlucky. He probably should have used the blast cone, but what happens is Rek'Sai jumps over the wall with his E, and then he finds a pink ward. And he finds a pink ward in the pit, and he, greeds, kills the pink ward, doesn't flash out, and just gets caught in the pit.
Yeah, you gotta... Just because you got rid of their vision doesn't mean that they don't know you're there.
Exactly. Maybe they thought he would run away. He was thinking, they're gonna think I'm gonna run away, I can just sneak it. But Skiz showing up with this mid priority, and while Gangplank has the 5 assists, he's shown up to some fights too. It hasn't felt as noticeable of an impact as we've seen coming out from Skiz so far this game.
So we no longer have a top lane tower for huge minion difference. It looks like Joey Detsu definitely had that CS lead, and is definitely sitting on a bounty, the largest bounty on the game right now. But realistically, it looks like all of the lanes except for mid have been. And mid's you've seen so much from Skiz so far. Are you willing to say that laning has definitely gone in the favor of Glacial Rising Phoenix?
I would say with pretty much certainty, aside from maybe bot lane's pretty even, and even there you see a little bit of a CS lead. So I do think laning phase has gone in the favor of Glacial Rising Phoenix. One of the key things we actually see is they have the Rift Charge.
Yeah, Duddy Brains gets that Rift Charge off and takes down mid tower just as we're getting ready to set up for Dragon.
Yeah, CCO doesn't have TP either.
Almost catching out SJ capping, but he manages to get away. We see Joey Detsu using his ult, kind of just harassing, so he won't have access to that for this Dragon fight, which has already started. Dragon melting quickly. It doesn't look like there's a lot of pressure being put on Glacial Rising Phoenix as they secure this.
Yeah, and this is one of those, honestly, why is Orianna even there? Because, like, the first Dragon they lost where it was mid-priority, this time it's top lane priority. You have Joey Detsu that walked down, he's already there, and your Gnar doesn't have TP and he's not walking. So you've kind of made the call as a team that you're going to give it up, but you're still half fighting for it, and we see, Orianna has to burn her flash. And what I was trying to get at earlier is we have actually a Hex Drinker coming out from Gangplank.
Oh, CCO getting caught out by Joey Detsu's charge, getting knocked down to about half health. Duddy Brains is there, but so is Bo. It looks like they're going to be able to escape fairly safely.
Yeah, they look like they're kind of out there. As we actually see also a play happening in the bot lane as they attempt to pick them off with Gangplank ult. They're not able to, as Ezreal is a little slippery. But it is seeing a Hex Drinker from a Gangplank strikes me as a little odd against the team that's not. There's a lot of magic damage, but a lot of times what you see from Gangplank is like a Sterix Gauge or even a Phantom Dancer. Sometimes if you're going that crit build, so we're going to see probably like a Maul of Malmortius build coming out from the Gangplank as like GP mid, which is a little strange. Sometimes when you play Gangplank mid, you want to go like super full crit, because you are taking up, one of the high damage slots of your team.
And you brought up in the pregame about what Ezreal will build. He has built that Iceborne Gauntlet. He did not go for the Triforce.
Yeah, and, he hasn't really been in too much danger, and they're getting to the mid-game point now where he's not going to be laning, really, against the Ori and the Lux, so as long as he's not getting hit by a Binding, he will find the payoff with that Iceborne Gauntlet, as the rest of the team is, physical damage, and we do see actually really behind Rek'Sai. He's up in farm, he's, even in levels, but overall, I feel like Zach is going to provide a lot more in team fights.
Yeah, absolutely, and honestly, Duddy Brains has more gold than Rek'Sai at this point. He has about 300 more gold.
Yeah, and that just comes from the towers they've taken, the couple of dragons they've gotten, and we do see, a little tank fight skirmish up here, as it should be a little harder now for the Gnar to actually die in this 1v1, now that they have some health stats on both of them.
Joey Detsu has they're starting to try and sneak a Baron, but it looks like Joey Detsu's build is a little spread out.
He's probably going for that Maul, but we see a Baron sneak as they know they have 2 people bot lane and Skiz has TP. So they know they can have 5 at this Baron, while the most huge mini difference can have is 2 or 3. And we don't even see, they kind of don't even realize until just now that the Baron's going down.
Absolutely. Skid's kind of just giving it a watch, but it looks like this Baron's just gonna fall pretty easily.
Yeah, we see they kind of just take the Baron. They recognize, you know, we see Huge Mini Difference not recognizing they can't just send their bot lane. You know, there are 2 people on their team to the bot side of the map with Baron up. And we see Glacial Rising Phoenix making the correct punishment call. They send someone with TP that can wave clear to hold against the 2 people bottom, and their whole team just moves up and they take the Baron.
They did give up 2 turrets over that. It is now technically 2 turrets to 3, but I don't imagine that that number is going to stick for very long with this Baron power play starting.
Yeah, and a lot of times too with turrets, you look at the gold value it gives your team, especially just the outer turrets. It's always nice to break them to start getting wards into the enemy jungle, but the gold value they get is nullified because Baron gives, you know, 300 gold to basically every team member. So it's basically the same as getting some towers. And what we're gonna see with this Baron is we're gonna have to see if they waste a lot of time just setting up for this whole minute for Dragon, or if they're actually able to push some lanes and get some towers.
Absolutely. They are getting a lot of deep vision, and Skid's getting caught out, but being able to hourglass through SJ Capping's ultimate, avoiding the bulk of damage.
Yeah, he uses Zanius to avoid the Lux ult damage, and because he actually TP'd up from bot lane to the Baron fight at the end of it, he doesn't have TP, so he didn't want to risk taking the chunk of damage before this fight. We'll have to see if this not having Zanius, if there is a Dragon fight, comes back to bite him a little bit.
It looks like they're doing a little bit of a poke war before this Dragon comes up. A little bit of damage on the CCO, but not a lot. But Skid's getting heavily chunked down.
Yeah, and he has to use the flash. You know, that's a really good combo actually from the Orianna over the wall. However, you know, Biho was top lane this whole time, and because your jungler's top lane, we might see them still lose this Dragon.
There's a lot of skirmishing, but we have a big stun, and immediately we see Cairo get bursted out, followed by Skids killing off CCO, and kind of a wasted Ornn ult, but that was a 2-for-0 and probably a secured Dragon for Glacial Rising Phoenix.
Yeah, and so far the story of this game and these Dragons have been the numbers advantage. All 3 Dragons' Huge Minion Difference of loss has been 5v4 fights. They can't seem to get all their members at this Dragon to want to fight for it. But they still opt into the fight, even knowing they're down people, but they can't seem to get their whole team there.
So we've seen a lot of this Baron pass by. They've managed to secure 1 tower, and now they're beginning to push mid, but we have Shadow Jumper getting caught out, managing to walk away around half health. Joey Desu is also stuck in, but you know, that's an Ornn and what's happening. Poe hops in deep, going for attack on Epic Fail Guy, but instead gets bursted out. After a Cairo ultimate, they managed to kill Epic Fail Guy.
And so far we've seen a 1-for-1.
Glacial Rising Phoenix looks to be on the back foot, but here comes Skiz and just deletes Cairo. Duddy Brains goes in deep, trying to put a lot of damage on the Shadow Jumper and CCO, but SJ Capping able to provide an escape.
And a little bit of anti-synergy there with the Zac slamming them together out of the Ornn knockup. But overall, you know, a pretty good fight. And we see the Rek'Sai is really struggling to make an impact in these fights. He had to burn Flash and his tunnel from an awkward angle to even, you know, just half-health somebody. And he wasn't able to finish anyone off or really survive.
So that's going to finish off this Baron power play. They managed to get a tower. They managed to get a Dragon. And put a little bit of pressure mid, but maybe 2/5 of a tower dead from that.
Yeah, and the best part about having this Dragon right now is that it's denied soul to Glacial Rising Phoenix, because 1 Infernal Soul is nullified by the Mountain Dragons, as they've already gained more resistance than damage that Huge Minion Difference has gotten.
Absolutely. Oh, a lot of damage goes on SJ Capping, and Epic Fail Guy managing to just pick off the support for Huge Minion Difference.
Oh man, there go those Magi stacks that they were they were counting up down there. I think they were at a grand total of 3. Back down to 0 for them. It's gonna be a long climb back up to 10. But I do hear quite a few people actually, at least for mid lane, talking about how Magi's isn't the worst item when you're behind, because all it takes is 1 team fight and you're already at like 10 stacks if you win one team fight, and then you're getting extreme usefulness from it.
Well, it looks like Glacial Rising Phoenix has done a little bit of a reset. You have Joey Desu split pushing down bottom. You have Skiz. It looked like Skiz was trying to make a push for top lane, but instead is coming back to mid lane to join the team.
Yes,
Baron will be up in less than a minute.
We'll have to see what the lane assignments end up being. Hopefully, they don't send too many people to the wrong side of the map with Baron up again. Because I do think that is a legitimate chance for Huge Mini Difference to win a fight. The Baron debuff that it puts on enemies will be enough for them to shred through an Ornn, as we see Zac flying in.
Zac coming in, getting a stop. They managed to stun out SG capping, and there he goes. Joey Desu once again firing off his ult, knocking up some members, but they were too far behind the line. It looks like all of Glacial Rising Phoenix is falling back to this 3-man team of Huge Minion Difference.
Yeah, and overall there, it's we see Lux getting picked trying to ward again, and I just wish Cairo had been able to hold on to that Orianna ult, because I actually think even with a dead SJ capping, you could maybe win a fight where Ornn doesn't have ult. But without your Orianna ult, there's pretty much no hope.
And moving in on a quick Baron play, it looks like they're going to be able to secure this fairly safely. Oh no, they're...
We see a TP coming in from Gangplank. They're looking to contest this.
Absolutely, they're looking to contest. Glacial Rising Phoenix has backed off.
Yeah, they recognize they have a Mountain Soul coming up soon. They don't really want a 50-50 the Baron. They'll just take the victory they got from Gangplank ult from Gangplank TP, because Gangplank will not have ult for this Mountain Dragon fight.
And Huge Minion Difference is making a mad dash over to it, trying to get set up. That said, Shadow Jumper is in top lane.
Yeah, once again, they can't seem to get all 5 members here to this dragon, so Shadow's gonna walk down, or even if he comes from base, we're gonna see them, unless they can get this pick here.
It looks like Skid might be in a bad place as 3 members fall on him, but here comes Duddy Brains. Skid dropped very low. Duddy Brains using ult. Here comes the rest of the team. They managed to pick up Bo in exchange for Skiz, but this entire time, Shadow Jumper is just pushing deep, already wailing on a base tower.
Yeah, and we saw a little anti-synergy with the Gnar ult and the Ori ult, but like you said, he's top laned on the tower, and we have them starting up their Mountain Soul, but they've already lost an inhib tower. They're probably going to lose an inhibitor here.
Yeah, he's just wailing on that inhibitor. They're doing slow progress on this dragon. It's at 14. They Oh, okay. So they managed to pick up a kill on CCO and managed to secure the Dragon Soul despite a very close ultimate from SJ capping.
Yeah, and they do get the Mountain Soul.
Shadow Jumper's walking away with an inhibitor.
Yeah, so they got an inhib top lane. It's probably, it might be one of the best trades they could have hoped for, but top lane inhib with a Baron up is not ideal, because it's very easy for a team to wave clear that while still rotating into Baron, as we actually see Shadow Jumper overstaying again, and once again will pay for his life by overstaying.
Absolutely. So we're beginning to see the start of a Baron play. It looks like Joey Desu is teleporting in.
Can we see a Miracle Steal come out here to keep them in the game?
Bo getting a little bit harassed by Skiz.
That's a good shot.
Absolutely. Skid just getting a fair amount of damage on the bow. Here comes SJ capping, trying to provide support, but that Baron is already down.
Yeah, we see a really good job of Skiz there, just to keep him zoned away, not even give the potential over for a steal. And before this Baron was taken down, even though it was 20-9 in kills, we actually only saw about a 2,000 gold lead. So they're not insanely far ahead as the score leads you to believe, but now with Mountain Soul, with Baron buff, it is truly going to be a mountain to climb for the side of Huge Minion Difference to win these fights.
It looks like Bo's moving out to try and push out this bottom lane a little bit. It's been pushing against them fairly hard, but Joey Desu is going to be covering this top lane. As we get a little bit of a skirmish in mid, Cairo going super low.
Will the Ezreal snipe him? No.
And Skiz getting caught out has a lot of people around. Skiz deleted as Duddy Brains tries to go into support, having to fall back.
Yeah, and you know, we see.
Oh, here comes the Mechanar from CCO. Looks like Glitch Rise and Phoenix are just gonna continue to fall back.
Yeah, and we see the Ornn top lane the whole time, you know, getting this tier 2 tower. But you have to wonder why they were being so aggressive mid in a 4v5. You know, just they can let the Ornn get the top tower without having to be, you know, in the enemy bot side jungle like Skiz was. I mean, getting any pick there is good for huge minion difference, because they're probably going to lose these outer towers either way.
Absolutely. We have now 2 towers going down. It looks like Joey Desu is putting a lot of damage onto Shadow Jumper as he finally gets to the top base tower. This entire time, CCO is just shoving him bottom lane.
Yeah, and split pushing might be their key to success, because at this point, who is really going to kill this Ornn? You see an Ornn with triple Mountain Dragon, you know, with 3 items fully complete, with a Bramble Vest, and you don't have an actual AD carry on your team. So who is going to be the one for your team to step up and shred through the Ornn? We don't see a Leandries yet for the Orianna.
We have a pause coming out.
Yeah,
we have
a quick DC.
SJ capping DC'd briefly. She should be back momentarily, and we are having the game resume.
So we'll have to see who's actually able to kill this Ornn in a team fight.
I mean, that's why you bring an Ornn. He is the unkillable machine.
Well, it's just especially, you know, it's especially strange that we saw the way the draft unfolded, where they picked Gnar and not picking Ornn, when, you know, they already had picked Lux and Ori at the time, so they probably already had a good idea. They wanted the Orianna to go bot lane, and they still left open such a, you know, easy, big tank like the Ornn.
Interestingly enough, we've only seen Epic Bell Guy get an upgrade from Joey Desu. We haven't seen any other items get upgraded on his team. Oh no, never mind. We have one on Xylandis as well. We have the upgraded to Salvation.
Yeah, and then we don't have an item yet for Duddy Brains, and I think they're just... I'm not sure why he's not really doing anything for Skiz. The way this game's going, and with Skiz building probably Leandries, he's not going to have a Death Crown for 10 more minutes. So it's interesting we don't see, like, a Zanya's upgrade. Maybe just give him some more extra tanky stats to stay alive.
It looks like we're now falling into a kind of stalling position, just trying to keep lanes pushing out. Joey Desu now shoving out bottom lane a little bit, and Skiz just trying to clear out these super minions while they wait for their inhibitor respawn. Yeah,
and this map setup can actually end up favoring huge minion difference here, because we do have the Elder Dragon spawning in a minute, and if there is one objective I hate the most right now in League, it is Elder, because this coin flip dragon right here, if you're able to steal this away for huge minion difference, that is a game changer.
But we've seen another Baron power play with just a couple of towers taken, maybe a couple of kills traded back and forth, but not much else.
Yeah.
We do see a tank fight with Joey Desu running into CCO. Here comes Duddy Brains, but CCO is being backed up by 4 members of his team.
Yeah, and we saw, you know, no Ornn actually grouping up with this team to use the Ornn ult with Baron to break open mid. And one of the big things, you know, is they have an unkillable Ornn frontline. They could probably tower dive anything, but they chose, you know, 4v5 split push.
And here comes Duddy Brains to begin slamming in. Ornn ult coming in. CCO taken very low as Duddy Brains just hangs out in the back line. And Joey Desu holds off 2 members of huge minion difference. There goes Cairo. There goes Bo. There almost certainly goes an Elder Dragon.
Yeah, and, you know, huge minion difference. They did not get the success they were hoping for with this Gnar Rek'Sai role swap, as we've seen quite a few missed Gnar ults.
Shadow Jumper and continues to follow. Xylandis there to support, but it looks like Shadow Jumper is just going to be able to sneak out.
Lux ult? Oh, the Lux ult was almost back up to maybe steal it. But we just did not see the Gnar have a big impact on the game. We saw a bunch of missed Gnar ults. We've seen the Rek'Sai not do too much in terms of impacting the game. And it's just a little unfortunate for them that they tried this strategy out and it just isn't working for them.
So this is the third major buff fight that Glacial Rising Phoenix has managed to secure. These first two Barons have just not been super impactful. Do we think they're going to be able to do anything with this Elder Dragon?
I certainly hope so, because they're going to have Elder and Baron, is what it looks like. Hopefully when they get Elder and Baron, they don't immediately reset and they actually try to push the win, but we might see huge minion difference. Draw a line in the sand and say, we're gonna split push bot lane, we're gonna hold you at this Baron while he does it, or we're gonna lose or win the game right here when they have Elder.
Dirty Brains goes in, they start the Baron. It looks like all of huge minion difference is outside the Baron pit, starting to look in, with the exception of CCO, who does have teleport, but is just bottom lane pushing. And there comes the team fight. You have Dirty Brains going in deep. Here comes the Ornal to try and knock anyone up. They get Shadow Jumper, but nothing else. It looks like all of Huge Minion Difference is able to back out.
And that's actually really massive, though, because they got them off the Baron, and they still have their Gnar split pushing bot lane.
Absolutely, these engages have not been working.
Man, Syndra are literally one shot with the Elder buff right there.
Absolutely, Cairo is gone. This should be a fairly safe Baron now, but Bo is just waiting in the wings. Here comes the attempts to steal. No, Dirty Brains manages to secure it with a smite, but this entire time, CCO is now about to clear off an inhibitor.
I think he got a little behind. Man, we see CCO actually trying to 1v1 Skiz here, and I think if Skiz didn't have the Elder, he actually would have been successful.
Absolutely. We're finally seeing the base cracked for Glacial Rising Phoenix. They're now nailing some towers, some Nexus towers, but...
Man, look at this Ord. he's really out here just completely zoning everyone. Who's gonna kill him? He's saying, who's gonna kill me?
Going down, Joey Detsu just ignoring all the damage, chunking down huge parts, but it looks like they've managed to kill Xylandus. CCO and Bo both down. There goes Cairo, and hopefully this can be the end. There's just a few points left on this last Nexus tower. Joey Detsu going in on Shadow Jumper, who manages to get away. There goes the last tower protecting the Nexus, and they're turning on the Nexus.
Yeah, and we just see, there really was nobody that could kill this Ord in this game, aside from the Nexus turret that does true damage.
Tower managed to kill him. So there we go. That is a Glacial Rising Phoenix victory over huge minion difference. A massive kill game, too.
Yeah, that was in the beginning, it was a very kill-heavy game. It died down a little bit, but not too much. It just became a little more one-sided.
But not even that far behind. I mean, by the end, it was about 9,000 gold difference, but even still, that was a much closer game than I think Glacial Rising Phoenix would have wanted.
Oh yeah, with how far ahead it seemed they were, and then you took a look at the gold lead, and they're only up, 2,000 gold, even though they have Mountain Soul and they have Baron. But they were able to close it out. The Orianna ADC, the Gnar, the Rek'Sai, it did not work as planned.
But you look at the damage charts, and this was a very damaging game. We're checking to see if there's going to be an interview here, but we also have the final game of the day coming up in just a couple of moments, and that's going to be Trigger Happy versus NG Blossom.
Yeah, but see, to be fair, with the damage graphs, they were smacking that big Ornn. They had to do a lot to kill that man. Yeah,
he was truly massive.
But we'll have to see. So huge minion difference. They have 2 games left. They have Smug Club and they have Kisses for Cats. We'll have to see. Their first game is Smug Club. If they can pick up a win there, they're looking good for playoffs. But if they can't pick up that win, it's gonna be dangerous for them.
Absolutely. It looks like we have Epic Fail Guy joining us for an interview. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think the game went a little bit longer than we hoped it to, but I mean, in the end, we still got the victory, so pretty happy.
Absolutely. Y'all had a couple of situations where y'all managed to get Baron 2 times, and each time it was kind of moderate gains. Were y'all just like having trouble securing the team fights in there? Were they just too slippery?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the first Baron we didn't do a whole lot with. I think we just mainly got the dragon off of that. But second Baron with Elder, we're definitely just trying to plan on ending the game, and they were kind of really squishy or really slippery to get after in team fights.
Awesome. So y'all are pretty much secured for playoffs now, and almost certainly going to be playing against Trigger Happy as your first fight. First off, how do you feel about making sure y'all are going to be in playoffs?
I mean, I think always the goal was kind of to get to playoffs, and now I think we can just kind of look on trying to get as many wins as possible. We've got two pretty tough games coming up next week against NG Blossom and then Kisses for Cats, so that'll be really testing. Good practice for playoffs, and I mean, our games with Trigger Happy are always super close and super fiery, so we're ready.
Do you have anything you want to say to Trigger Happy before y'all play again?
I don't think so, but I think we're just gonna win. I mean,
And
that's it.
any thoughts for next week when y'all have realistically the hardest week going? Anything y'all are prepping for, or
I mean, I think we're just going to be working really hard throughout this next week to kind of improve on our weaknesses and improve on our strengths. So hopefully we will get better and put up a good fight against both really strong teams.
very cool? Jake, do you have anything?
No, that's about wraps it up. I do have to say, you're playing the Ezreal. You get to be for fun, super tanky. How did it feel to just never die there?
Oh, it felt so good. I mean, with a Mountain Soul, I had like 300 armor, so it's really nice just not being able to die and just being able to put up so much damage. It is very balanced.
Isn't a nice change of pace? Because I know a lot of ADC mains have really hated this season, especially.
I mean, I
Do you like
haven't
the season?
hated it. I pretty like it because Ezreal Aphelios, I'm a huge fan of both of those champions, and I mean they are both really just not balanced champions right now. So I'm having a lot of fun.
All right. Well, best of luck to you in the playoffs.
Thank you.
And congratulations. We will be back in just a moment as we get ready for a game between the current number 1 seed, NG Blossom, and Trigger Happy. We'll see you in just a moment.